I'm on the 16th hole. It's a beautiful par 5 and such an inviting tee shot. And there's just nothing worse when you have one of these situations and you can't get the power that you know you have out onto the golf ball. So we're going to talk about some of the common power leaks. What I mean by power leaks is sort of errors that you make in the build-up of creating the correct levers, the correct coil, and really finding your maximum speed. So the first area we're going to talk about is really your hands on the club. If your hands tend to fall apart or your wrists get cupped, this left wrist creates this angle, what's going to happen is you're never able to compensate for that coming down. Either the club face will be open or the wrists will just not hold for you. So if they collapse on top, the first move is likely to be that early release and there's going to be no speed created by there whatsoever. Working up your body, next thing is your elbows. You never want this right elbow to collapse past this 90-degree angle. As this comes down, this is going to hold and then straighten as you hit the ball. And if it folds, the balance of the club is completely lost and it's just too difficult to straighten it from such a bent angle, and it'll feel powerful right up until you hit it and you'll never get that lever to correctly unwind. The next area is the coordination at the top of the backswing. You want to be able to get your shoulders and arms to finish together. And if you've got one of those swings where the shoulders take a little bit too much of an early turn and your arms finish, there's no pressure in my body built up here whatsoever. That top of the backswing's got to feel like almost a tight, uncomfortable position. There's so much pressure in it. So here, and then really load it up, and that's the feeling that you want to get. Keep that right arm wide. Next area is what happens really from your core. I want the hips to turn to finish the backswing because the torso made them turn. That's really a tight coil and I've got a lot of pressure on the inside of my right foot. But if you get a little bit too jumpy and that hips turn too early, there's no pressure built up here whatsoever, so I make a maximum swing, but I don't get any creation of power whatsoever. It's about the ability to separate your lower body from your upper body. That upper body's got to start the turn and make the lower body squeeze into the tightest turn you can get. The last part of this is how you're going to create the weight. Like your right foot is going to really be the anchor of the backswing. So where's that weight going to go on that right foot? You don't want to have a shift where you go, well, that's a turn. The movement is against the inside of that right foot. So this knee is going to stay inside my ankle. This hip is going to stay inside the knee. And as I stretch to the top, I can let that right leg straighten a little bit, but there's no way that pressure is going outside of my right foot. It's a big movement, but there's no power created whatsoever. Those are some of the common areas where power can just leak out of your golf swing. Let me show you one. So, it's hands on the club. Make sure those hands are nice and tight. Don't let that left wrist cup on you. That right elbow, absolutely a vital key. That has to stay wider than 90 degrees. If it folds, you'll never straighten it out and you'll never get that hit on the ball. In the pivot movement, don't let those hips go too early and don't let that right foot fall apart on you. Those are the anchors that you need to build up the pressure. If you can work on those keys, you'll be surprised how much more efficient your swing is and how much more power you have to deliver to the ball.